Archaeologists wept when they opened a 5,000-year-old coffin and saw this horrifying sight. A strange and incredibly impressive archaeological discovery has just been made by experts at Wangzhuang, Yongcheng, Henan Province, China. An ancient tomb dating back about 5,000 years, large and magnificent, along with over 350 valuable artifacts excavated from the site. But what makes this tomb one of the most remarkable discoveries in recent years? The tomb is believed to be the final resting place of a highly important figure, possibly an emperor of an ancient civilization. With its impressive size, measuring between 14.8 and 15.7 feet in length and 11.4 to 12.1 feet in width, this tomb suggests a special burial site for a person of great influence in society. However, when the experts opened the coffin, they encountered a strange and puzzling mystery. Inside, there were no intact remains, only a few fragments of toe bones. So, what caused the disappearance of this person's body? This question remains unanswered to this day. Despite the absence of most of the skeleton, the tomb still preserves a rich collection of grave goods. More than 200 pieces of pottery, nearly 200 small jade ornaments, along with many bone tools and animal remains, were found scattered around the coffin. These items not only reflect the refined culture of the Dawanku period, but also offer a glimpse into the life and beliefs of ancient people. Jade, a precious material symbolizing luxury and power, was used to create small, beautiful pieces of jewelry, placed inside and around the coffin, likely to serve the soul of the deceased in the journey to the afterlife. A particularly noteworthy discovery made by archaeologists was the presence of several ritual stone blades. What is intriguing is that these blades were deliberately broken, raising several theories about the burial rituals. These items could be linked to worship or sacrifice rituals, further adding to the mystery of the tomb. However, not everything found in this tomb is intact. Traces indicate that the tomb had been visited by tomb robbers. Valuable artifacts were taken, and the body of the deceased may have been moved or removed as well. This raises the question: was this tomb once the property of such an important figure that it became a target for tomb robbers long ago? This tomb is believed to be one of the largest and most richly endowed tombs discovered from the Dawanku period, a prominent culture in the late Neolithic era, from 4000 to 2600 BC. People of this period achieved great success in pottery production, creating exquisite products fired with advanced techniques. The discovery of pottery along with bone and stone tools proves that the residents of this period had a rich cultural foundation, with deep knowledge of technology and beliefs. So, whose tomb is this really? Could it be the final resting place of an ancient emperor or another powerful figure? Are these beautiful grave goods a message for future generations, or simply necessary items for an eternal life? The answer remains a mystery, but it is certain that the Wangzhuang tomb will continue to attract the attention of archaeologists and history enthusiasts. But that's not all I want you to see. In today's video, there are many more fascinating and impressive archaeological discoveries to explore. Let's continue our journey of discovery right now. The shroud covering the body of Empress Dowager Cixi. When we mention the history of the Qing dynasty in China, one of the most powerful figures that cannot be overlooked is Empress Dowager Cixi. She is not only famous for her strong influence in the imperial court, but also for her far-reaching decisions, one of which was the preparation of an incredibly grand tomb for herself. However, behind the grandeur of this tomb lies a mysterious story involving priceless treasures and shocking tomb robberies that remain an unsolved mystery to this day. In 1908, when Empress Dowager Cixi passed away, she was buried at the Dingdong Mausoleum, located in the Ma Lan mountain region in the town of Xuanhua, Hebei Province, China. This was no ordinary resting place. It was a magnificent tomb filled with valuable treasures that Cixi had prepared for the afterlife. Golden coffins, precious items made of jewels, pearls, and other rare artifacts were meticulously arranged, creating a mysterious world that no one could have predicted would become a major target for tomb robbers. This shocking event took place in July 1928 when Sun Dianying, a notorious warlord during the Republican period, and his gang of tomb raiders broke into the tomb of Empress Dowager Cixi. They stole the valuable treasures, leaving behind traces that made people ponder. However, Sun Dianying's group left behind a shroud that covered the body of Empress Dowager Cixi. The shroud, which measures about 10.5 feet square, is embroidered with 25,000 characters from the Dharani Sutra, all stitched with shimmering golden threads. Furthermore, the shroud was adorned with 820 beautiful pearls. Strangely, despite the tomb robbers taking all the pearls, this precious shroud was left intact, with no damage. This raises the question, why was this treasure left behind? Was it because they didn't recognize the historical and cultural value of the shroud? Or is there another reason that we still cannot explain to this day? It's hard to answer, but due to its uniqueness, the shroud covering the body of Empress Dowager Cixi still exists today. Conservation experts are currently working on restoring and preserving this valuable cultural and historical artifact. If we say that this shroud symbolizes the power and luxury of Empress Dowager Cixi and stands as a vivid witness to the mysterious stories of Chinese history, I don't think I'm exaggerating, do I? The coffin of a one-year-old boy that keeps opening. If you believe in mysterious stories and unexplainable phenomena, the story of El Angelito, the little boy who had the ability to make his coffin lid open after death, will make you reconsider the strange things we can't explain with ordinary reasoning. The story began 50 years ago when a boy named El Angelito died from meningitis, just a few weeks before his first birthday. He was buried in a small cemetery in Banda, Florida, a remote town in northwestern Argentina. However, something strange happened when, after just 7 years of being buried, the ground covering El Angelito's grave was suddenly overturned, as if someone was trying to escape from the burial site. Initially, his parents thought this was due to heavy rainstorms, but when the weather returned to normal, this phenomenon continued to occur with no reasonable explanation. El Angelito's mother shared, "We thought that our son didn't want to be buried in the dark. He wanted to see the light. He wanted to see people." So the family decided to replace the coffin lid with a glass one, thinking it would allow their son to see the world around him. It was a strange but very reasonable decision given the incredible events that continued to unfold. However, the miracle didn't stop there. El Angelito became a phenomenon, attracting the attention of thousands of people from all over Argentina. After 50 years, the boy's body remained surprisingly intact, not decomposing like any other body. Another phenomenon that caused a stir was that El Angelito's coffin lid continued to open on its own, as if the boy was demonstrating some supernatural power. El Angelito became a mysterious symbol, and many people believed he had the ability to perform miracles. Stories of miracles occurring after people visited El Angelito's tomb spread continuously. One such story is from a man named Daniel Saavedra, who shared that after praying by the boy's grave, he fully recovered from a severe pancreatic disease. Many others also shared their miraculous experiences when touching El Angelito's body, and many people believed that just being near the boy's grave would bring them good luck or cure their illnesses. Today, although no one can explain this strange phenomenon, the story of El Angelito continues to attract the attention of those who believe that this little boy might be capable of performing miracles. Whether you believe it or not, El Angelito has become an inseparable part of Argentina's legends. Of course, this story also raises a big question. Do miracles really exist that science cannot yet explain? Does El Angelito possess supernatural powers, or is this simply a mysterious story that still remains unexplained? What do you think about this story? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. The Valley of the Kings, the burial place of ancient Egyptian pharaohs. Much of what we know about ancient Egyptian civilization comes from the mysterious tombs and the remarkable preparations the ancient Egyptians made for death, particularly for royal family members. From golden sandals to luxurious coffins, the handcrafted items of the ancient Egyptians can now be admired in many museums around the world. However, this has not diminished the interest of visitors, who still wish to see these timeless, mysterious tombs in person. The place that houses the most royal Egyptian tombs that still exist today is the Valley of the Kings. One of the most famous archaeological sites in the world, the Valley of the Kings is located near Thebes and contains 63 tombs of pharaohs and nobles. The valley was formed after Egypt was unified, and the ancient civilization entered the New Kingdom period, around 1550 BCE to 1077 BCE, a time of incredible wealth and prosperity. It was during this period that pharaohs sought out locations and built elaborate, grand, and intricate tombs to demonstrate their power and influence, eventually establishing the Valley of the Kings. This is the burial site for most of the famous pharaohs of this powerful empire, such as Tutankhamun, Seti I, and Ramesses II. In addition, the valley also serves as the burial ground for queens, royal family members, and high-ranking officials of ancient Egyptian dynasties. The 63 tombs are scattered across two valleys, the East Valley and the West Valley. The isolated location was key in protecting the tombs from tomb robbers. The tombs were carved into the rock faces, using natural features to create differences in size and complexity among the tombs. Some tombs are very elaborate, with up to 120 chambers, while others consist of a single room. Inside the tombs are rare items that were specifically prepared for the pharaohs, queens, and other important individuals, which held great value at the time to signify the power of the deceased. This also aligns with the ancient Egyptian belief in preparing all the necessary items for the deceased to continue their life in the afterlife. Although the Valley of the Kings has been looted by tomb robbers, the interior decorations still reflect the wealth and power of the individuals buried there. The interior decoration of the tombs also gives us a glimpse into the burial rituals and beliefs of ancient Egyptians. The mummies were carefully wrapped using the most advanced technology to preserve their bodies intact, ensuring that their souls would return after 5,000 years. The largest tomb in the valley belongs to the sons of Ramesses II, who reigned from around 1303 BCE to 1213 BCE. Although only partially excavated, many archaeologists believe that at least 4 of the 52 sons of the pharaoh were buried there. As of 2006, this tomb had 200 corridors and chambers, making it the most complex structure in the area. However, like most tombs in the valley, it too was looted, and much of its burial goods were taken. The most famous tomb is that of King Tutankhamun. However, this tomb is quite small. Archaeologists speculate that because the young king, who died at around 18 or 19 years old, passed away unexpectedly, the tomb had to be hastily constructed in a short period of time. Nevertheless, the tomb remains one of the most important archaeological discoveries in the study of ancient Egypt due to the immense collection of burial goods it contained, which were largely undisturbed by tomb robbers. During the excavation and discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb, many mysterious events occurred, such as illnesses and deaths among those involved. This led to the rise of the curse of the pharaohs associated with King Tut's tomb, leading many to believe that no one should go near it, not even tomb robbers. The Wangzhuang mummy, the mystery of the death of the ancient man. When it comes to archaeological mysteries, one cannot overlook the strange story of the Wangzhuang mummy, a discovery that shocked the world in 1871 in a swamp near the city of Kiel, Germany. This is one of the rare ancient mummies that has been almost perfectly preserved, thanks to the unique conditions of the swamp environment. So, what makes this mummy so special? And what mysteries surround the death of this man? When the Wangzhuang mummy was found, it attracted attention not only because of its remarkable preservation, but also due to the strange features on the body. Experts conducted various tests and detailed analyses to uncover questions about the man's age, lifestyle, and the cause of his death. The research results revealed that the mummy belonged to a man who lived around the 1st or 2nd century BCE, more than 2,000 years ago. What was even more surprising was his age at the time of death. Based on bone analysis, experts determined that he died between the ages of 40 and 50, which was considered an average age for humans during that period. However, his death was not natural. It was clearly the result of a violent act. Evidence of this was found on the skull, where scientists discovered a severe wound with a triangular hole, possibly the result of a strong blow to the head. These injuries not only indicated that this man was murdered, but they also suggested that his death was likely accompanied by extreme pain. The powerful blow to his head caused serious damage, leading to his death. This not only piques curiosity about ancient execution methods, but also raises questions about the circumstances and context that led to his tragic fate. From this discovery, experts are even more convinced that the Wangzhuang mummy is not just an archaeological artifact, but likely a vivid witness to the past, revealing secrets about life and death in ancient times. The Capuchin Catacombs. The Capuchin Catacombs in Palermo, Italy, are often regarded as a treasure trove, holding the largest collection of mummies in Europe, with about 1,284 mummified bodies, some of which are remarkably well preserved. Upon entering, the catacombs are cool and damp, with the faint smell of decaying materials in the air. Dust swirls around the space as an eerie silence envelops the entire area, illuminated by dim light. This is the place where many bodies were preserved, paid for by their relatives. The skeletal remains are arranged in an orderly manner on the walls of the catacombs, in various positions. Through their clothing, one can glean details about their lives. For example, monks are dressed in robes, soldiers in uniforms, and women's dresses reflect the fashion of the time. Meanwhile, mummified children are dressed in the finest clothing. One of the most famous mummies in the Capuchin catacombs is Rosalia Lombardo, a 2-year-old girl who died of pneumonia due to the Spanish flu in 1920. Her father enlisted the help of Alfredo Salafia, a renowned chemist of the time, to preserve his daughter. This is considered one of the best preserved mummies in the world. After many years, it seems that Rosalia's skin still retains a rosy hue, and her hair, adorned with a yellow ribbon, gives her the appearance of peacefully falling asleep. Among the 163 mummified children, there is very little information about their identities or the causes of their deaths. Dr. Kirsty Squires from Staffordshire University, who leads the X-ray mummy examination project, is expected to study them for 2 years to determine the condition of the children and the mummification practices used. Dr. Squires has mentioned that most of these children came from middle-class families of the time, but the reasons for their tragic deaths remain a mystery. The mysterious village appears beneath the sea in the haunted forest. A research team from the UK dove deep into the North Sea, a body of water on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean located between the UK, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. Their 11-day expedition uncovered a ghostly petrified forest buried thousands of years beneath the seabed in an area known as Doggerland. The surprises didn't end there. When they collected sediment samples from the mysterious forest, they found some very strange traces. Upon further excavation, they brought up larger specimens from the seabed. To their astonishment, they discovered signs of human presence from the Stone Age. In other words, 10,000 years ago, beneath the ghostly forest visible on the seabed today, there was a prehistoric village where our ancestors lived by hunting and gathering. This discovery explained the many eerie artifacts that fishing boats and dredgers in the area have unintentionally caught in recent years, such as ancient human bones, stone tools, flint, spearheads, and artwork carved into bones. The reason why the mysterious village appears deep beneath the sea is also explained. 12,000 years ago, Doggerland was not a sea. It used to be a vast plain that existed between the eastern coast of England and mainland Europe. Ancient Doggerland had forests, a massive salt marsh, abundant wild animals, and human communities. However, rising sea levels gradually transformed Doggerland into a sea, which is why we now find a mysterious village deep under the seabed. The 2,000-year-old tomb of the Guardian of Hell. In October 2023, a 2,000-year-old tomb was discovered in Giugliano, Naples, Italy. And what makes it particularly fascinating is that it contains a fresco depicting Cerberus, the legendary three-headed dog in Greek mythology, who is considered the guard dog of Hades and was tasked with guarding the gates of the underworld. As a result, experts have confidently named the tomb of Cerberus, making its story even more mysterious and intriguing. The fresco depicts Cerberus's final moment, when he was captured by Heracles, the famous hero in Greek mythology, marking the completion of one of the 12 greatest labors in history. This powerful image is associated with a legendary feat, but what is strange is that the person buried in this tomb is not a mythological figure or a mythical creature, but a human being. So why does the tomb feature the symbol of Cerberus? And what connection does the deceased have with this three-headed dog? As experts continued to excavate and study the tomb, they discovered 2 stone coffins placed inside. One of them was opened using a tiny camera, allowing archaeologists to avoid damaging the body inside. The result was the discovery of a well-preserved body. The corpse was covered with a shroud, and surrounding it were several burial goods, including unguentaria, small bottles containing oils and perfumes, along with a strigil, a tool used in ancient Roman bathing rituals. With these findings, researchers decided to open the coffin to conduct a more detailed study of the body and the accompanying artifacts. What they are eagerly anticipating is uncovering the identity of the person buried here and their connection to Cerberus. Could this be the tomb of someone associated with ancient Greek rituals? Or is it simply an intriguing coincidence that the deceased was buried in a tomb with such mystical symbols? This tomb promises to reveal many secrets about the life, beliefs, and rituals of ancient Romans. The combination of the burial goods and the fresco of Cerberus is not only a cultural artifact, but also an unsolved question about the relationship between humans and mythology during this period. Who was the owner of this tomb? Did mythical rituals truly influence the lives of ancient Romans? These questions will surely be explored further by researchers in the future. Stay tuned for updates. The most eerie fossilized forest emerges in New York. A vast array of giant and bizarre fossilized trees from the era when Earth began to transform into a green planet has been uncovered near an old quarry. With an age of 386 million years, this is the oldest fossil forest ever unearthed. This eerie, deformed ghost forest was discovered in Cairo, a town in New York State, covering an area as large as 32,292 square feet. The trees in this fossil forest are massive specimens with gigantic, odd-looking roots. This root form is characteristic of Earth's early plant life, which began to change the way plants collected water and nutrients from the soil, leading to the growth of enormous, woody trees. They also show the early stages of the development of the ability to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Thanks to these trees, Earth's continents gradually began to change colors, transforming from a treeless planet into one with vast green expanses covering most of the land. This discovery is the result of a major excavation that began more than a decade ago, involving Cardiff University in the UK, Binghamton University, and the New York State Museum, located in the foothills of the Catskill Mountains in the Hudson Valley. The ghost forest contains 3 types of ancient trees: Cladoxylopsids, Archaeopteris, and an unidentified species. According to Dr. Chris Berry from Cardiff University, a member of the research team, fish fossils mixed in with the trees suggest that these plants were swept into the area by floods from a different location and deposited in the quarry area beneath the mountain. It is estimated that when the forest was alive, it spanned across what is now Pennsylvania and surrounding areas. At 386 million years old, this fossil forest is the oldest ever excavated, offering valuable insights into a time when Earth was beginning to take shape as it is today. Discovery of 2 new human species that interbred with modern human ancestors. 2 new mysterious human species once existed alongside Homo sapiens and Neanderthals and may have shared knowledge, tools, and interbred with both groups. The first new species, dubbed the Dragon Man, was identified from a huge and fairly well-preserved skull, which exhibits traits of both Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, but is more closely aligned with Homo sapiens. The skull was found in 1933 by Chinese workers while they were constructing a bridge over the Songhua River in Harbin, Henan Province. The workers hid it in a well for many years to protect it from the occupying Japanese forces. It wasn't until 2018 that a man, before passing away, revealed the location of the skull. A research team led by Professor Qiang Ji from Hebei University, China, analyzed and determined that the skull is 146,000 years old, with a face similar to ours but almost no chin. This new human species has been named Homo longi, with the largest skull size among all species in the genus Homo. These characteristics suggest that Homo longi may be more closely related to us than Neanderthals and could have interbred, as there is much evidence showing that human species frequently interbred. The second new human species was identified through fossil fragments excavated in 2010 near the city of Ramla in central Israel, now known as the Nesher Ramla Archaeological Site. Paleoanthropologists spent years analyzing and reconstructing the 3D image of a well-preserved skull using advanced software. The fossils were dated to between 120,000 and 140,000 years ago. The fragments belonged to an unknown human species. The reconstruction revealed a rough face, large teeth, and almost no chin. Their skulls share many features with Neanderthals but are more primitive. Comparison with other fossils, such as those found in Taban Cave, 160,000 years old, Zitia Cave, 250,000 years old, and Kisum Cave, 400,000 years old, clearly shows that they belong to the same species. This large population existed in what is now Israel between 100,000 and 400,000 years ago, and is known to have made sharp stone tools, precursors to spears and arrows. They shared these techniques with nearby Neanderthal and Homo sapiens communities. Over the period from when our Homo sapiens ancestors settled there around 200,000 years ago until their extinction, there were instances of interbreeding. Evidence from some fossils that previously puzzled scientists due to their similarities to Homo sapiens, but with distinct differences, suggests that they were hybrid offspring between our species and the mysterious humans of Nesher-Ramla. As previous studies have shown, the genus Homo once included many species, most of which are now extinct, except for Homo sapiens. Treasure of ancient Romans. Italian scientists have discovered a Roman ship dating back to the 1st or 2nd century BC, containing hundreds of ancient ceramic jars. This is a remarkable discovery. The ship's cargo of intact Roman pottery jars, also known as amphorae, provides archaeologists with valuable insights into ancient maritime trade routes. The ship was found at a depth of about 525 feet beneath the sea, near the port city of Civitavecchia, approximately 50 miles from Rome. This unique discovery demonstrates the dangers faced by Roman ships, which had to navigate the treacherous seas while engaging in trade, and it also serves as evidence of the development of ancient maritime trade routes. The ship, estimated to be over 65 feet long, contained hundreds of Roman ceramic jars, which were clearly categorized. However, archaeologists are still uncertain as to the exact use of these jars. Along the coast of Italy's Mediterranean Sea, there are many underwater archaeological treasures, prompting police dive teams to patrol regularly to protect these sites from looters. In 2021, within just a few weeks, Sicilian archaeologists discovered 2 ancient Roman ships, one off the coast of Palermo and the other near Ustica Island. Both ships contained large quantities of wine jars. Additionally, many other Roman ships have been discovered in the Mediterranean. For example, in 2013, off the coast of Genoa, scientists uncovered a nearly intact ship dating back to the 2nd century BC. Ancient cemetery with thousands of graves on cliffside. The island of Sicily in Italy is considered one of the most mysterious regions in Italy. In addition to well-known landmarks, the island still preserves an ancient cemetery complex. Unlike typical cemeteries where graves are visible upon entry, the ancient cemetery in Sicily requires visitors to look up high, atop the steep cliff faces. This is the Pantalica Rock Cemetery, a prehistoric burial site consisting of thousands of graves carved into the vertical cliffs, resembling a giant beehive from a distance. Between caves and cliffs, about 5,000 ancient graves can be seen from afar. These graves were carved deep into the limestone mountain by ancient people. The graves come in various shapes, from square and rectangular to oval, and they are relatively small in size. Upon entering, the tombs resemble artificial caves, and some are divided into chambers. According to scientific estimates, some of these tombs date back around 3,000 years. The Pantalica Rock Cemetery is located in the Hybla Mountains, in a valley formed by the Calcanara and Anapo rivers. The complex is a series of tombs that run along the mountain slopes. It is known that the cemetery was created by the native people from the coastal region of Sicily, and it developed during the Late Bronze Age. Here, they carved tombs into the mountain rock. However, many of the tombs were abandoned when the Sicani people settled in the area around the 7th century BC. During the early Roman period, the tombs continued to be used. Later, the Muslims discovered this rugged mountain area as a perfect hiding place and established a medieval community there. The ancient rock cemetery is surrounded by a rich and diverse flora and fauna untouched by modern infrastructure. In 2005, the rock cemetery was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has been said that walking through the valley of these ancient tombs feels like a journey through time, reflecting on the past. The 99-million-year-old monster bird. A beautiful piece of amber found in Myanmar has provided the first clue about the existence of a monster bird that lived and died alongside the dinosaurs. According to Sci News, the amber fragment from Myanmar is the first clear fossil evidence in the world of molting in mid-Cretaceous juvenile birds. It also reveals a bird that lived a life unlike any bird species alive today. The Cretaceous period, often called the Age of Monsters on Earth, includes the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods, which saw the rise and fall of the dinosaurs. During this time, a group of modern creatures, birds, also underwent distinct evolutionary progress. A team of scientists led by Dr. Jingmai O'Connor from the Field Museum of Natural History has stated that the ancient monster bird, whose remains were uncovered, belongs to a group called Enantiorniths, which went extinct along with the dinosaurs in the mass extinction event 66 million years ago. However, they are a crucial link to understanding how early bird species evolved, as Enantiorniths were the most diverse group of birds during the Cretaceous period and relatives of the ancestors of modern birds. The bird associated with the amber fragment is from a later period of Enantiorniths, when birds had begun to transition from their primitive form to a more modern version, similar to today's birds. The new monster bird seems to be a transitional creature. It molted very early but still had to become independent quite early in life. This discovery accidentally explains the long-standing mystery of the extinction of all Enantiorniths when the Chicxulub asteroid impact struck, rendering the environment uninhabitable for a long period. The environmental temperature is thought to have dropped drastically, with volcanic ash covering the sky for centuries, blocking sunlight. This is also the reason why cold-sensitive creatures, poorly adapted or simply too large to find food, like the dinosaurs, went extinct, while the mammalian ancestors survived and became the foundation of a new and diverse animal kingdom. The mysterious Lover's Rock. The Lover's Rock, La Pena de los Enamorados, also known as the Sleeping Giant, is a natural rock formation that rises 2,900 feet above the ground, located in the Andalusia region of Spain. Above it, at the location of the giant's chest, is an ancient tomb, known to locals as the White Stone Tomb, which has been famous for some time. However, a recent excavation led by Professor Leonardo Garcia San Juan of the University of Seville, Spain, has revealed shocking secrets about the White Stone Tomb. First, it was not just an ancient tomb, but also an early form of an astronomical observatory, where ancient people used it to observe celestial bodies, calculate calendars, track seasons, and conduct rituals. The ancient White Stone Tomb on the Lover's Rock and the details within the tomb were carefully arranged with astronomical significance. The oldest megalithic stones of the tomb date back to around 3,000 years ago. Some burial goods made of ceramics from the same period were placed in the tomb at the same time. Scientists suspect that the remains were placed on a large flat stone platform and then pushed to the rear of the platform once they had decomposed, where archaeologists found 45 teeth and 95 bones. Around 2,500 years ago, the tomb showed signs of being upgraded with the addition of 2 stone burial niches, possibly the resting place of a high-status couple. Sometime later, the tomb underwent significant changes, with new stone blocks being added to seal the tomb entrance. This renovation also included the addition of bones from at least 2 children and 3 other women. Thus, the tomb was used in 3 distinct stages before it was completely sealed around 1950 to 1180 BC. On another level, the stone circles and the placement of the tomb reveal that it was indeed an ancient observatory, where people from the Neolithic period used it to observe many important phenomena around 3,000 years ago, marking the end of the Stone Age in the region. All the floor slabs in the tomb were also carefully arranged to align with the direction of the sunrise on June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, indicating that this could have been a ceremonial site dedicated to the sun god. 177 feet long sea dragon fossil on top of a mountain. A team of scientists led by paleontologist Martin Sander from the University of Bonn, Germany, has discovered 3 fossils dating back to 205 million years from the Triassic period. These fossils belong to the famous marine reptiles known as ichthyosaurs, also called fish lizards or marine dragons. They are called marine dragons because their bodies are incredibly odd, resembling a monstrous whale, but they are actually reptiles. They were extremely dangerous predators in the oceans during the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. The 3 sea dragons were found at 3 different peaks in the Alps. The first and second fossils, which include ribs and vertebrae, reveal that when alive, these creatures were about 69.8 feet and 49.2 feet long, respectively. The third specimen only contained a single tooth, which was 5.9 inches long and 2.4 inches wide. suggesting that when it was alive, it must have been up to 177 feet long. These three specimens upgrade the ichthyosaurs to become one of the largest species among the sea dinosaurs at the time when this group of creatures ruled the planet. The largest ichthyosaur resided at the peak of the Krachenhorn near Davos, Switzerland. Its size is inferred from a more complete ichthyosaur fossil, 59 feet long, which was described last year. Its tooth, with a base width of 0.8 inches, is much smaller compared to the 2.4 inches wide, 5.9 inches long tooth just recently uncovered by scientists. It is known that large sea dragons were predators of sperm whales, giant squids, large fish, and even smaller marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs in the ancient oceans teeming with monstrous creatures. The reason these marine monsters became fossilized atop mountains is believed to be the process of Earth's plate tectonics, where tectonic plates constantly shift, transforming continents and oceans over time. As a result, a plate from the Triassic Ocean has, after 205 million years, turned into the Alps peaks, giving these ancient monsters the chance to be revealed once again to the world. The Copper Scroll. The Copper Scroll is one of the strangest historical documents ever found. It was first discovered by an archaeologist in the caves of Qumran. It was found in March 1952 behind Cave 3 at Qumran. This was the last scroll out of the 15 scrolls discovered in the cave, and thus it was named 3Q15. However, unlike the other scrolls, which were written on parchment or papyrus, this scroll was written on metal, specifically copper mixed with about 1% tin. Due to the corrosion of the metal, the scroll could not be unrolled in the traditional manner. Therefore, in 1955, the scroll was cut into 23 strips and then pieced together. The Copper Scroll contains a list of 64 locations where an astounding amount of treasure is said to be buried. 63 of these locations reference quantities of gold and silver estimated by the ton. In total, it is estimated that more than 4,600 talents of precious metals are listed on the scroll, with the total value of the treasure exceeding $1 billion. However, searching for this treasure is not easy. The directions are very complex, written in such a way that only those with intimate knowledge of the area can understand them. Without a starting point, the instructions are essentially meaningless. One of the biggest treasure hunts took place in 1962, led by John Allegro. By following some of the clues from the listed locations, the expedition team excavated several areas that might have been where the treasure was buried. However, in the end, they had to return disappointed. To this day, despite being known for decades, no one has discovered the treasure buried within the words written on this copper scroll. One 200-year-old graffiti drawing. Icelandic archaeologists have unearthed the oldest known graffiti drawing in the country, a Viking-era scratch drawing resembling a ship. Bjarni F. Einarsson, the archaeologist and leader of the excavation project, said that the researchers discovered the graffiti drawing in the remains of a longhouse. The hastily carved writing was etched into a red clay slab, measuring about 1 inch wide, and dates to shortly after the year 800 AD. Einarsson explained that the incomplete ship depicted is typical of Viking-era graffiti. The carving shows a sail with vertical lines, a rope from the sail extending to the front of the ship, and part of the ship's hull. According to Einarsson, it is very common for ships to be depicted incompletely. He noted that Viking-era ship drawings are widespread in Scandinavia and are often found on fragments of bones, stones, and wood. Cemetery of over 1 million mummies in Egypt. A team of archaeologists from Brigham Young University announced that they have recently discovered this cemetery near a pyramid, naming it Fag el Gamis. Many of the mummies found here date from the Roman Empire or the Eastern Roman Byzantine period, around the 1st to 7th centuries AD. According to Live Science, this was not a burial site for kings or royal family members. The deceased were not buried with burial goods and even lacked coffins. Their internal organs were not removed, and instead, the mummification process took place naturally due to the dry environment. Several objects, such as glass, linen, and colorful woolen socks, were found in the graves of children. The archaeologists noted that the origin of these mummies remains a mystery. They discovered a nearby village, but its scale does not match the vast size of the cemetery. An ancient town named Philadelphia is also nearby, but it already had its own burial site. The origin of this cemetery remains unsolved and continues to be a mystery. Mysterious monsters of the world never seen before. A creature with features half resembling a reptile and half resembling a bird has been unearthed from a 121-million-year-old slab of rock at the Paleontological Treasure Trove on the Pigeon Hill of China. According to Sci News, this creature has been named Migmanikian Laiyang and belongs to a group of Maniraptorian dinosaurs, which includes species capable of flight. Maniraptorans first appeared in the fossil record during the Jurassic period, and their descendants still exist today in the form of modern birds. Maniraptorans are part of a larger group known as theropod dinosaurs, which have been shown to be the ancestors of birds. The newly discovered creature is a completely new member of this group and has never been found anywhere else in the world. Its most notable features include long arms, three-fingered hands, and a unique crescent-shaped bone in the wrist. Its hands are different from those of other theropod dinosaurs, providing an important piece to the complex puzzle of this lineage. The fossil of Migmanikian Laiyang was found at the Pigeon Hill site, which is part of the Wangzhuang Formation in Inner Mongolia, China. Over the past decade, a new freshwater fossil site from the early Cretaceous period, Pigeon Hill, has attracted widespread attention for yielding exceptionally well-preserved fossils from the Jehol biota. The Jehol biota is a large region centered in western Henan Province, China, known for its rich and diverse ecosystems. Dear friends, in the ancient world, the period considered the most primitive is full of countless mysteries that remain unexplored. Among these are mysterious creatures that have haunted the world to this day, as well as treasures thousands of years old that conceal secret systems behind them. There are also mysterious cities, ancient tombs that are centuries old, and mummies that are so well preserved it's almost unbelievable. All of these are mysteries that even scientists find astonishing. So, among the discoveries mentioned above, which one impressed you the most? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give this channel a like and subscribe so you won't miss any fascinating discoveries. For now, goodbye and see you next time.